am on a whole nother level. Girl, he only fucked you over cause you let him. Girl, I guess he didn't know any better. Girl, that man didn't show any ever. Do all I can just to show you you're special. Certain it's your love that holds me together. Lately you say he been killing the vibe.
It shows that we are real human beings. Try to get ready, yes. Are you guys ready? Good. Good evening, everyone. AAC, take it back.
Action!
So, we are back on our couch tonight on Take It Back TV, right out of the city of Lagos. And it's been an interesting day for us. Political developments, as you know, is the same old story. Old people now versus young people. But I'm starting to like the conversation that is going on. A lot more people are consciously saying, look, there's a problem here. These people have no new ideas to give us, and they have no right to barge into our life because it destroyed our future. But tonight we're doing something different. We brought a very popular Facebooker, and that's the way to put it. She's very well known. She started a Facebook page known as Rant HQ, right? And she's been bragging that she's more popular than me. That's the truth. And I consider that to her. Only that I wish that she ran for the presidency so that I can beat her well.
You can't be too sure.
Yeah, Suzan Ade Coca is on the couch with us tonight. And if you're on Rant HQ, she had asked you to ask questions and done a lot of publicity before. Now, I want to thank you so much for coming. I met you today when we were doing the exercise at Ijoya 2.0 at the National Stadium, and she graciously agreed to come on the couch and ask questions, discuss issues. So we're going to start, but before we do, just to thank all of our viewers all over the world. This is viewed by how many people are watching already, please?
220.
Yeah, that's pretty quickly. How many people are watching on Rant HQ? We want to do the popularity contest now. 45, you see now? 45. You need to develop your TV. Anyway, so thank you so much for coming, and let's just start.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes. So I want to ask you, what drove you to start Rant HQ? And why do you think it was successful so quickly?
It was just me mocking about, just having a laugh.
Yeah?
Yeah. I just, I think it was about 10 p.m. at night. I just thought, let me just wind people up. And then I started posting, I comment on people's posts. I just go on the road and I just have a laugh with them. And then I decided to start a group. Mm-hmm. So it was just myself and my brother. My brother was not even aware at the time. Yeah. So
And your brother is somewhere in the background.
Yes, he is.
Really cool guy.
So I was just posting by myself. Initially, I thought I should make fun of Nollywood movies.
Wow.
And then I initially called the Yoruba films. Mm. So after about maybe 20 posts all by myself, I just said to myself, are you going to make this your bed Rant headquarters? I said, oh, that's a good name. So I changed it. And then I decided to add everybody. And it just basically, when there were 500 people, I literally thought that, oh my God, what have I done? What am I going to do with 500?
And this was when? When did you start?
This was in August 9, 2017.
Wow.
Yes.
That's probably the fastest growing Facebook page that I know of.
Yes, it's quite, it's actually not about the number, it's about the activities that
so what you're saying is this is organic. The people who are making comments are real people. And you didn't have to buy
absolutely
likes.
Do you know the amount of work that goes into, you don't even want to add more people sometimes? Every 7 days, based on Facebook analysis, we get like 4 million interactions every 7 days. That's a lot of work.
What's the craziest thing that you posted that got the most engagement?
DNA.
DNA?
Yes.
What about DNA?
I just, as I was mucking about winding people up, I just said, men of Rant HQ, are you sure the children you're bringing up are yours? Hashtag DNA. Oh Lord Jesus.
Goodness.
Oh my God.
That's good stuff. Yeah.
Oh my Lord. Like I had I didn't cry, but I was actually sad the way people came for me. And most of them were married women, no,
So married women saying, look, why are you going in this direction?
Yeah,
because they are the ones who know the father of the kids, right?
So,
this is completely, this is journalist part of me, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
That's interesting, very interesting. So have you been threatened before for posting something?
Oh yes, of course.
Yes.
I've been threatened. I was threatened about the DNA stuff. I don't even care. I've been threatened about virtually everything. In fact, today, I was just responding to someone. Someone said to me today that he wanted to slap me when I was talking to you.
Wow.
Today, he actually commented.
Yeah.
So I responded to him that, I dare you next time. Please make sure you do it.
Oh, wow. So he was around there
Yes.
at the stadium.
Yes.
And they said, this is Suzan.
Yeah, so
that person had a beef with you.
I don't know what the problem
Or maybe
is.
the beef was because we were talking to me.
Perhaps, maybe. But
Wow.
it's none of their business, really.
So that's interesting. So now let's turn it over to you. Have questions. You've asked all your followers, people at your headquarters,
to
send questions to Sowore, and I know you have a lot of questions for us or for me, and I just want us to make it as interactive as possible, so that I don't do all the talking.
I wouldn't let you.
All right.
I mean, as you know, there's a part of Rant that we call Rant Politics,
Yes.
which is actually the account we're streaming from now.
All right.
When Rant started, our people whine and complain and rant and vent about stuff, and they talk about us. I said, we don't want to talk about politics and religion, but over time, I see that the things that people talk about, these are things that are reflections of politics and religion.
Of course, yeah.
So I thought, why am I shying away from? I mean, even though this started as a joke, we can actually make meaningful stuff from it. So I decided I'll start talking about politics. I got a lot of backlash. I mean, there are times that I put up a post and people go to my family members to tell me to pull it down, and I don't.
Yeah.
I said, no, I'm not going to pull it down,
You should.
because I am not an enemy of the government, neither am I a friend of the government. I am a Nigerian citizen, and I care about it. So I talk about everybody that I think is in power, wants to be in power. So I am interested in them. I talk about you a few times, like the one I said today.
Yes.
I did a poll. I want to find out, just generally get an insight into what people think. So, like I do when I meet anybody, I've met a few politicians from different parties.
Yes.
My major concern is not who gets into power. I mean, like, it doesn't. I don't care about the party that gets into power. I like the fact that you are younger than what we're used to. And that's the thing that makes me that brings my interest in you.
Yes.
I have personal things about the way you handle things, but nobody's perfect. It's your way, but you're shaking the table, and I love it. I love it.
You guys can clap for
So I like the fact that it's shaking the table. I'll be a little bit controversial, but it's a boring word.
Probably, you're probably going to be more controversial than I am.
No, I'm
By the
not.
time you're done with your Rant school,
Oh, well.
you have a reputation for being. I mean, listen, I really appreciate that. So I've been controversial my entire life. I don't think I've lived any other life different from being controversial. At the age of 21, right? Everybody abandoned Abiola after having collected his money, and I stood up and took 3,000 students in and I said, I want to go and swear him in. Everybody thought I was crazy.
Oh, well.
And Abiola was like, where did this guy come from? So that was how that video came about. And then he went to his house, generous man. There's always Naira line every day. Took 800,000 Naira, gave it to me. And I said, take your money back. He said, there's nobody who has ever come here before and rejected money. I said, you've just found one, because I'm not doing this for you because of your money. They cheated you in this election. Your friends did cheat you, and I know they've abandoned you. This is the time for the Nigerian people to stand by you. It's not your mandate. It's the mandate of the number of people that voted for you in that election. And he couldn't believe it. So he asked me to follow him. He said, well, when I'm going to address the press next, I want you to stand behind. I was wearing slippers, and that if they showed my feet, you would hate me. Yes. And it's just, so when I came out of that, people were like, this young boy is crazy, he wants to kill himself. How would he say things that he has said? So, like, consequently, a lot of controversial things, including Sowore Reporters. Probably the most controversial thing I did in my life is setting up that website, news website, and took on.
Is it still up and running?
It is up and running, yes. And took on a lot of stories, and I took on a lot of powerful people in this country, and nobody believed it could be done, but I did it.
So, was that encounter with Abiola, studying the thing that make you go into politics now?
No, at all. Before I met Abiola, I was already a student union president of the University of Lagos. So I was certainly pretty popular at that time because we were engaging the system. Before Abiola became president, I'll give you another encounter we had. So Abiola came with Mandela to the University of Lagos when Mandela was released from jail, and we told him to leave. At that time, he was following Babangida, and we were fellow students too. Now we started singing ITT, International Tiff, and Abiola ran away, forgot his hat, his cap. And maybe he's one student that collected a cap. So it is how we are. It's like we've been very politically active, for a long time. Especially our primary aim when we started was to drive the military out of power. And Babangida was president of the country at that time, military general.
Okay.
They had their goons all over the place. In fact, at the University of Lagos, they had tanks stationed permanently in front of the campus, pointed at the gates, so that when we want to come out and protest, they just shoot at us. And they did shoot at us a few times, and actually shot students beside me before. I think 2 guys at one time. One of them nearly died. They shot him, and the bullet nearly touched his spinal cord. That's the thing. But outside of the campus, we were protesting against the annulment of youth. They killed several people right in front of us when Abacha was passing, remember. So we've seen the worst possible form of torture, repression in my lifetime to tell you that I've always been politically active. But partisan politics, this is the first time
you've been
involved, yes.
So why that?
I just feel like everyone else now that you cannot change the situation of the country. And as you very quickly find out even at Rant HQ, you can't change the situation of the country by whining about it.
No.
So I've been in the business of complaining about the system, led protests before. I've done pretty much everything anybody can possibly do. I've been physically attacked, almost killed before. I've been in prison. I'm in detention around Nigeria 8 different times, expelled twice from the university. So you've done all these things, right? And then you come and discover that every election cycle, they elect idiots to run the country. And you're looking at it, you're better suited than these guys. You have better exposure, better education, but election time, they will go and bring another idiot, and then they will impose on and they will ask you to clap for the person, and the country progressively got worse. So I said to myself, why don't you just present your credentials to the Nigerian people? We're in a democracy, and contest the space, and so that you can bring sanity back into it. That's what led me into doing this. And since we started, we haven't looked back, and it's been a very, very interesting experience.
Take it back.
Awesome. You are controversial.
That's true.
You're non-conventional.
Absolutely.
Some find you quite disrespectful as well.
I would say, see, there's a difference between being disrespectful and being confident. A lot of people are not used to the kind of self-confidence that I have. But my self-confidence derived over the years from what I've seen and what I've been through and what I know. My little knowledge base is enough to tell me that there are certain things that shouldn't be done, right? Or that people should not subject themselves to. inhuman and degrading treatment, regardless of how it is couched or presented. For example, when I was in the university, the convention was to respect the military authorities. I disrespected the military authorities. I didn't believe they have any business in power. But people will say, wow, you are talking about Babangida like that? Are you crazy? In fact, there will be people who will protest that you insulted Babangida. There will be people who were protesting that Babangida should continue as a civilian because they say it was the best thing to happen to Nigeria since peanut butter was invented. So, but we did something different, and the country was a different place for it. So, when you hear people say, "Oh, you are disrespectful or rude," they mean that they have not become used to your ability to discern, BS, nonsense, and then to confront it, and then say and stand by your position and words. Because what led the world to where it is today, the developments we had, the civilization we've had, are mostly unconventional people. The guy who started Skype did not know, perhaps, or maybe he knew, but didn't expect that he would send, telephone companies into a tailspin, right? The guys who started WhatsApp probably did not know that one day people will use WhatsApp as a means of communication.
Yep.
So instead of saying that I'm disrespectful, you can just use the word I'm disruptive.
Take it back.
Yes,
Action.
That's the best way I think I can be.
People should.
Yeah, I should look at it. It's like I have a disruptive attitude to it. If I see something that is conventional, I'm thinking about how you can take them apart and put them back together in a better way to serve more people, to make people feel better in a society.
AAC.
Take it back.
Take it back.
Action.
I understand that, and like I said, this is one of the things that I like. I find that attracts me to your political mission is the fact that you shift the tables. I like it.
Yes.
Oni of Ife is a political person.
It's not.
It's not. In the sense that he's a traditional ruler, because this is something that's come up on Rant HQ a lot, and I actually would like to clear it up, to get that cleared up. They feel you're disrespectful to traditional institutions.
No, that's not true.
Okay.
See, traditional institutions are here to serve people. In fact, I will allude to there's a saying in Ife, or Yoruba saying that what it means in English is that the Ife nation, as it is, the cradle of Yoruba civilization, was created on the wisdom of the old and the young. So it means that the traditional stool of Ife, is constantly dynamically evolving based on wisdom. And the conventional wisdom is that if you are the owner of Ife, you live in a mansion, right? And you drive a Rolls Royce, you travel extensively, you invite a guest to your palace. He arrives there 15 minutes before time. It's your house. It's just like you come here to see. 3 hours later, you don't even let him know, thank you for coming, I'm delayed somewhere, I'll see you. No words. And you show up, you sit down, and you carry on business as usual.
Okay.
And the young person, the Omode of Ile-Ife, of Yoruba land, tells you, Kabisi, don't do this next time. If you do, it denigrates our culture. Our culture should not treat people like this. The concept of respect in Yoruba land is reciprocal.
Yes.
The moment there's a Yoruba word, right, that says that, there's a Yoruba, it's not adage, this one is a folklore story. Orlando sang about it. That there are three things that
he's not begging the Oba for any he's not begging me for money. So why people are saying rubbish? What comes of
disrespect.
Wallo inviting you
right? He said when he dies, that is respect. They asked to be buried under the throne of the king. So when people prostrate for a king, they are prostrating for not the king. They are saying, that respect is an obeisance to the person that's buried under the throne. That's so easy. So they said when money died, because money loved life, they couldn't find money to bury. So they now said for them to continue to pay respect or obeisance, they must go and look for money and bring it back to be buried so that there will be prosperity in that town. And it is the reason why people went out and they were still looking for money. They want the whole body, because that's what the oracle says, that they must bring the whole body back before there will be peace and prosperity. Till today they haven't found the entire body of money. Oh, some people have found the nail, some people have found the head. Until they said, the oracle said, until they bring back everything, there will be no prosperity. I'm telling this to you that to let you know that I understand our culture well enough not to have disrespected the Oba. But also, our culture must evolve in such a way that there should be no denigration of any person. Our culture must also allow for Yorubas who might have a different opinion about how the culture is carried on to express themselves freely. You remember Fela's mom, a woman. She was one of the people that dethroned an Oba, right?
Yes.
In Abeokuta.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Over. Yes.
Yes.
If it happened these days, what do you think will happen to her? They say a woman go and dethrone Oba. So the activism of people who have problem with the traditional institutions have always been around with us in Yoruba land, and is the reason why Yoruba culture allows for the dethronement of Obas if they don't meet the standard for them to sit on the throne. It's always been around. So, but they don't teach history anymore these days in our education system. Everybody's just doing trial and error. But that is not to say, I've explained to you what happened.
Yes.
But I wanted to give you a bigger context on that, so that the Obas themselves can understand that we are not, the era of somebody being a subject of an Oba has passed. You know, it was what pushed slavery to happen, or what pushed our culture to bury people under the coffin of an Oba, the people they call Abobaku. There's no Abobaku anymore. You know? Yes, nobody is going to be buried under the casket, and we are no longer killing twins. So, if we meet at the palace of the Oba, people should have a right as to how they want to greet the Oba.
Of course. And
Oba should respect and accept how they people, because we are all partakers and owners of that traditional stool.
Take it back!
Oh, sure.
So, but the most important thing is that whatever might have happened there, why was the need for us to be tear gassed? That's the question.
Did that happen?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. People passed out. People passed out. You know, there was some woman who was rushed to the hospital. So, it is the people who tear gassed us that denigrated the palace.
It's true, yes.
Yes. Not those of us who
Take it back!
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I think we didn't hear about.
You need reporters as Rant HQ.
The thing about about Rant HQ, we're not like a news.
I understand. I'm just saying you will evolve. Yeah. Trust me, and I said that to you earlier today. You will evolve. You see, you won't be at the point you won't be able to resist the need to evolve, because you are going to find out quickly that you are not Suzan Ade Koka alone. That you are a holder of a public trust. All the people that are there, they are contributing their time and their energy for you because they trust you. And you must reciprocally also hold that trust for them. Make sure that it's not polluted or diluted or commoditized. This is the reason why you must prepare yourself for it. What was the first thing I told you? I said you need Rant HQ TV.
Yes.
You know, because in 5 years' time, nobody will need a TV station in Nigeria and a TV license to operate anymore. More people are watching us tonight than probably NTA. And NTA is the biggest TV station in Nigeria. Because you generate content of interest to people. They will move to you.
We already started Rant HQ Media.
You can clap for her.
Take it back!
So let me ask you, do you feel more popular than Linda Ikeji now?
I actually don't feel any competition.
All right.
At all.
That's good.
Take it back!
That's good.
No, she's on Rant HQ. She's been a member of Rant HQ since when we're less than 1,000.
Wow.
So I think she's still there.
I'm confessing today I joined Rant HQ a few years ago. No, I think last year.
Last year.
Yeah, well, I think somebody pulled me out of the place after a while because it's non-stop, you keep getting.
Oh, because we get thousands of posts
Yes.
every day. You can go to, if you're experiencing the same thing, you can go to your setting and change it to get notifications only when your friends post.
I have 5,000 friends.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
I'm sure not all of them will be posting the Rant HQ.
Yeah. Okay, friends on Rant HQ.
Yeah,
Thank
just
you.
friends on Rant HQ.
Yeah.
So I understand that. Well done. I am personally impressed. You see, this is why you must get information firsthand.
Yeah.
And this is the slogan we say about Rant HQ: undiluted, unedited.
Yeah.
So people here first, we go live. We don't edit anything.
Yeah.
We don't remove anything. We don't, except maybe if we go and film someone and they request that we pull down their videos.
Yeah.
So it's nothing. We don't have a studio to edit. We don't even edit the pictures we take with cameras.
Yeah.
All the bits and pieces we still leave it there. So yeah, that's why I like the fact that you talked about the honest stuff.
Yes.
Because people had problems with it. I was a bit like, why did that happen? I didn't know you waited 3 hours.
Yeah,
I
we kept us waiting for 3 hours.
On KBS, I would have left.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 hours is a lot.
If we had left, they would have said that we disrespected him.
But 3 hours is a lot. Maybe he was busy, or perhaps with the protocols. Anyway, so I'm glad we cleared that up. You politically, you're fighting for the youths.
Yes.
And a lot of the youths are, they're inclined to following you. They just want to, be a part of you. Now, sometimes the way, because there are a lot of your followers on Rant HQ.
I know.
And then,
Take it back, people, Rant HQ.
Take it back. Action. Take it back. Take it back. Action.
everyone is welcome. I say to people,
you're going to get a lot of
everyone.
Go there and rant, man. Everybody go to Rant headquarters and rant.
Feel free to rant.
Rant until you fall asleep.
Feel free to rant, as long as you're not being abusive, you can make your point. I am very vocal. I try as much as possible not to be abusive. There are times I make a comment and I have to delete it. So I see people, they comment, they just hashtag take it back. I'm doing a live show that's got nothing to do with politics.
Yes.
And I'm telling them, listen guys, don't put this here. Just if you want something political, just another post or something. But they just continue, and I tend to just remove them from it. Now, maybe they're not understanding your concept. They all just want to be forceful in their mission. I mean, how do you address that? I'm talking from the view of my members, your followers. I like the fact that they are passionate.
Yeah.
Forget it. I love it. I like people who stand their ground. They keep going. I push boundaries.
Yes.
I love the fact that I push boundaries. I mean, how many people have taken me out of their groups since I started Rant HQ? I do not care. This is, I'm doing something. So how do you tell the young men and women that, they just see your aggressive nature and they just want to, what do you have to say to that?
I think there's a need to define specifically what they're trying to do. I don't think they're being rude or aggressive. People are just passionate. If you see the level of abuse these young people have been through their entire life, you would thank them for being patient for this long.
Yes, take it back. Action!
The reason is simple. Other countries that would undergo 40% of the abuse our leaders expose us to in this country, or what they do to us, people will carry guns and start a revolution or a civil war. I'm telling you this. But Nigerians they take it in, and I think their own way of lashing out is to just find wherever space they can find. They say, look, it's like the Occupy mentality. They're trying to occupy you too. It's like, because I was telling you when I saw it today, like, they complained to me, like, how dare Suzan put Atiku and Buhari together and they didn't include Sowore as one of, because they want to vote on your platform and make sure that we beat these old guys on your platform.
Yes.
But you then showed me that you included me, but I think maybe when you started, they didn't include.
No, I did straight away. I mean, I poke fun at you a lot, so there's no way I wouldn't include you.
So, just passionate people who want to see a different country. It's not only on your platform. The day PDP was having their convention, I went on the live streaming of I think channels or STV. It was all take it back. They're just there. They occupy the whole space.
Yes.
They want people to know that there are alternatives in the country.
Yes.
Because the narrative out there is that there are only two candidates, Buhari and Atiku, PDP and APC. And people are tired of this party.
Yes. We are taking it back.
Yes.
Fucking tired.
They have an alternative. They don't want to hear anything else. And wherever they think they can do peacefully to knock that into anybody that needs to hear it, they do. So that is what you're seeing from them, and I'm sure they participate in other areas of Rant where they don't even, because some of them, also go into some more interesting, or what would they say, more controversial topics on Rant HQ. They don't even want to be known, because I see a lot of controversial postings there, and people contribute or people like, and so the important thing is that you have created an avenue and a platform for engagement. If they are there, they want to make sure that their presence is fully felt. And this is political season. There is nothing you can do about it. People, what you're doing, people are sponsoring trolls online. They pay them. And the APC does that, PDP does that, to go and start bombarding people's pages, comment section. No, I've never had to pay anybody to. And anybody here can attest to that. If I even called anybody to go online to go and counter something before. In fact, I would call people not to engage in things that I felt like would not elevate the brands that we have. I don't have time to, but at the same time, I will tell you that I'm a voracious reader of comments. That is how I get my psychotherapy done, is reading our comments. And sometimes you got to laugh even in the middle of the night. And I like, like the person who responded to Atiku when somebody was killed by an armed robber.
Yes.
On his way back from Port Harcourt, and Atiku was like, I'm sorry. The guy went there and said, well, if you hadn't bribed these people, armed robber would not have been waiting on the road, because they knew that you bribed them $5,000. It might sound a little harsh, but it's making sense. It's trying to tell us that money politics will kill and will continue to kill people, and that's the kind of thing you get. But I don't encourage people to go online to troll. No, I think I've been trolled enough to understand that it doesn't work.
AAC! Take it back! Action!
These people love their trust in their passion.
Yeah.
What's your plan for them?
Maybe I look at this room. The guy who is shouting has a job, so I have no plans for him. but
Take it back! Take it back!
That one is a job.
That one is a job.
But quite honestly, is to look at the population of the country. And what is interesting, a lot of Nigerians who are passionate about what we're doing, they actually don't need anything from us. They just want us to create a country where they can flourish. Look at all these people in the diaspora. They don't need anything from you. We have a lot of doctors who are contributing to our campaign. They don't need anything. They're contributing to our campaign. And at the time that typically politicians will give money to people, they're giving money to us. Some of them have asked, in fact, majority of them have asked that if you can just give us electricity, I'm coming back the next day, And I'm going to go and volunteer in any hospital in Nigeria, anywhere you want me to. Some of them are saying they want to set up telemedicine hotlines so that you can call from Nigeria, they'll get a call in wherever they are, call you back, give you prescription, treat you over the telephone for free.
That's right.
Yes, virtual doctors. A lot of them are like that. They are teachers, they're engineers. I met a guy in the UK. He works as a tunnel engineer. They build a tunnel under which the London tubes pass through. And he just can't believe. He said it's more difficult to build a tunnel in the UK than it is Nigeria because we don't have the complex kind of soil system they have in the UK. Because if you borrow a tunnel in Nigeria, you just keep going. But in the UK, you can borrow it half of the way. It collapses on you have to come back again and rebuild before you can keep going. But they say in Nigeria, the formation of our system, topography, favors tunnels being built everywhere. A brother of mine showed me somewhere in Ondo State where you can just cut rock. You cut it and you don't need to even polish it. You can use it to make walls, floors. They're like, what do they call the imported ones from the ones? Marble, yes. We have so many things in Nigeria. But first, how do you start to do that without electricity? How do you start to do that without security? And we're talking about this since we have an agenda. We've actually printed our manifesto before we started a political party. And this is how to bring Nigeria back to, the kind of country that they need. And that's why you see them, they are following us. They've read through this. A lot of them are exposed, they're educated. They've been through this. In fact, we have not had a situation where people didn't believe that we can run this country better. What people don't believe is they just say, well, they've given up. We don't think you can win, but you're a better candidate. They've said it to us everywhere. And you see them on Rant HQ as well. You see them on Facebook. Not all of them belong to Rant HQ. And they said, these guys are better, In this case, not even me alone. They're referring to the younger candidates. They know that we have stamina, we have exposure, we have education, we have intellect, capacity. We can define what we want. But the old guards, the Atikus, the Buharis of this world, they will never talk to you. Our ancestors that are still with us.
Take it back.
Action! They will never talk to you. They just give money to you. You take. And then you go and buy votes and you give them. And then the moment you give them the ticket or you give them the position, they disappear from your life. In fact, if you hear from them, it's imposing more suffering and misery on you. And here we are saying that to our people, it is possible to just change your destiny tomorrow by taking the stand that is necessary. And what is the stand?
Make the positive
stand
change.
with the guy who you know will deliver.
AAC,
Take it back. Action.
And if you do so,
Vote right.
you have a country that you can call your own the next day, almost. But I'll tell you something, and I'm not exaggerating. If you vote for the right president in Nigeria, even our weather will come back to normal. In the rainy season, rainy season will become rainy season again. Dry season will become dry season.
Show them the way. Show them the way.
So it will be summer after a long winter, and not only summer, it will be spring first, then summer, and there will never be winter in our lives again. We have been in this winter for too long, and we need to stop it. And I believe that the energy you find, the passion you find in this room alone is replicated in millions of places.
Yeah, I cannot deny the energy.
So they're all there, and you have people in this room who came from the US. My friend on the left, the one who is screaming his lungs out. They all came from the US. They have jobs. The lady who is right there, who is writing up, they all came. They have jobs that are paying them 6 figures. But at the end of the day, some of them even have citizenship or whatever. But at the end of the day, they know that without this country becoming a country that works, they have no future. It's the truth. I spent 19 years in the US, and I came to the conclusion that I need a country. I've lived the most comfortable life. Lived in neighborhoods I never dreamt I could live in. Driven cars. I never actually had a good car. That's a problem.
Come on.
No, my car. I always
It's
bought
better
this
than
car.
what they drive on the streets.
I bought my car here. It's not better than. There are some really nice cars in this country. Trust me. Really nice cars. There are cars that I've seen in Nigeria there's cars that I've seen in Nigeria that you can't really find easily. They are rare to find in the US. Yes. So, anyways, Not to take over from you. This is
No, it's all
me.
right, I like
It's
that.
me ranting now.
Yes,
Ranting.
please do.
Yeah.
Please do.
Yeah.
Okay, so someone wants to ask you that he supports you, but he wants you to tell them in specific times, like stating a one after the other, what you are going to do in 100 days in office.
So this is one thing that I disagree with.
Must it be 100
We
days?
have all been made and conditioned to believe that we have to wait for 100 days
I love you,
before we can see
Sowore.
results from leaders. It's a mental conditioning. Why don't we start the day? The day you are sworn in is the day you should start working as the president of the country. And there's a lot that can happen on that first day, right? A president that is serious can remove all the roadblocks in one day, the day he's sworn in, right? A president that's serious can change all the military commanders who are, who are not
Blocking the younger ones.
A president that is serious can declare a state of emergency in the education sector, in the health sector. The day you are sworn in, as you are arriving your table like this, you are signing executive orders. I don't like to use Donald Trump as an example. But the guy, the day he arrived at the table, he signed maybe 30 executive orders.
Yes.
You knew that there was a new president in town. There was no. Well, it's true. You call him a sheriff.
Yes, sir.
And the crazy one for that matter. But
People think you're very much like Trump, though.
no, I don't want to say that's.
I mean, this is exactly what someone is saying.
My hair
that
is
you-
real. It's not. It's not.
President.
Go there.
Say Baba.
No more say Baba.
Wow. Okay, sorry. Right. Okay.
So what I'm trying to say is that why wait for 100 days? Hit the ground running. Start having conversations, meetings, start supervising projects. I want to be president of Nigeria that I can take a helicopter in the night and go to Enugu. Go and sit with the contractor. We have to finish this project. Or go to Benin or go to Calabar in the middle of the night and land this thing there. Find out so that nobody will come and be telling you stories of what is happening in your country. But the president we have at this time has not traveled to as many places that I've traveled to in the last 8 months.
Lifeless.
He doesn't know. He has been to Lagos
Lifetime.
twice in 3
Lifeless.
years. The last time he came, he even shut down Lagos, disturbing our people who are still managing their life. Came to, commission a bus station that had no buses. So you don't have leaders who are active. You need leaders who are active, who can engage in activities. So, and there's a lot you can do. Within 100 days, I would have visited all the 36 states.
Take it back!
Action.
Probably twice.
Okay.
Yes. Twice in 100 days. So that would be 72 days. And I would have gone to see which projects are going on. If it's schools we are building in your place, or the projects that are going on before I came, I want to see it. The roads that are supposed to be constructed will land there in the middle of the night. Check out the contractors. Are you working at night? Because I want to see the country running 24 hours.
Perfect.
Yes, I want to be able to go to Lagos, hide in a car and see if police checkpoints are not respecting our opinion or our orders. By the time they see that the president is not resting, you see people, and I love Nigerians about that. The moment the citizens are walking, everybody will also sit up.
Take it back.
It also means that you don't take them for granted. For example, you have to also start paying them salaries that are living wages, that are not these slave wages are paying. You have to start giving them hope, sending their children to school, because what does it take to put together the roof of a school that has blown up? Maybe in 2 days, carpenters mobilized there, the roof is back, the ceiling is back in 1 week, and students start learning there. I can tell you that the number of schools in Nigeria are probably not more than maybe 5,000 primary schools. I don't have the exact numbers, but that 5,000, or maybe let's even say it's 30,000 primary schools in Nigeria. If you allocate 100,000 each to make sure that everyone is in good order, it's still not reaching anybody doing maths here in the house, because we want to be using numbers, but that's not what we're going to do. There are 13 million kids who are out of school, for example, 13 million. If you allocate 100,000 naira to send them back to school. You give us, we'll only spend 220 billion naira. Do you know how much our senators and National Assembly people are spending? 1.something trillion is what is spent every year. And most of them don't even go to work.
There is God, though.
You understand? Meanwhile, we need to send children to school, out of school. So I can then say, after investing on your kids, if I see your child on the street hawking, you are going to jail.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. But you have to make the investment first.
Yes.
You cannot go and be sending people to jail and they will be back again. You know? But when you, and it's not only sending kids to school, it's also feeding them when they are in school.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm not talking about the bread that Buhari are giving them, the transparent dodo
Lunch
that inside
program.
the children, their so-called fraudulent lunch program. Yes, and when you do that, you also energize small businesses.
Exactly.
Because people now want to cook for, you get contracts to cook for a number of primary schools around you. You're a business person, you provide water for them, everything will just be working simultaneously. You are investing in your country.
Yes.
And you stop corrupt people from taking the money out of the country. You fix our airports. In fact, I want to talk Nigeria into an aviation hub. Somebody was telling us yesterday that Nigeria, the way it is centrally located, which is on the equator, by the way, yes, is such that from Nigeria you can reach the rest of the world at the shortest distance.
Yes.
You can reach Brazil from here in less than 10 hours.
Digital
America, 10
Sowore.
hours.
Take it back.
Take it back. Take it back.
Action.
Look at where Nigeria is located in the map of the world, where Africa is. Anywhere you're shooting, it is what we are not doing that the United Arab Emirates is doing with Emirates, with that Qatar is doing with Etihad.
Yes.
And now Turkey, of all countries, to go to anywhere now you have to go through Turkey.
Yeah, Istanbul.
Istanbul. And sometimes you stay there for 12 hours to take your next. If you are going through Qatar, 13 hours layover.
In Doha.
Whereas in this Nigeria, everybody can just be coming here, fly to India, South Africa, America, Senegal, South Africa, everywhere you want to go. So why are we not being the leader that we have naturally been made? It's because we keep voting for people who are not leaders, who are incompetent, people who don't know what they are doing, and who will never know what they are doing. I met Fela Droto yesterday, and he said something very profound, and I'll repeat it here. When we met Professor Wole Soyinka, he said, people don't change, right? So it doesn't matter how hard we try, but Buhari is not going to change. And what is Buhari? Buhari has always been this incompetent human being that you are seeing today.
90 years old.
Since he was 14 years old, I can imagine. Atiku is this person you are seeing today, has always been like this.
Yes.
A thief from the days of his being at the customs. That's how he made his money. So he said, if Buhari doesn't change, if Atiku doesn't change, and if Sowore doesn't change, who would you pick? Because Sowore has always been this stubborn, non-nonsense. I hate to be praising myself now, but I have to do it for political reasons. I've always been this non-nonsense, stubborn, unapologetic, unconventional person that will stand up for what I believe in, stand up for the rights of others, right? Whatever you want to, I'm a ranter as well.
Yes.
Take it back.
Take it back. Action.
So, if you had a chance to choose a Buhari that will not change, that is a complacent, lazy, incompetent old man. And an article that will not change, a bribe taker, bribe giver, and corrupt human being. And a Sowore, who would you choose? And if you were to choose a Sowore that do not change, what would be the outcome? What outcomes would you get? You get a better country. If you choose a Buhari that doesn't change, the outcome you get is the Nigeria you have now. If you choose an article that doesn't change, the outcome you get, you already know it. He did it with Obasanjo for 8 years. The outcome is that they will license himself to get another university.
Yes,
where the public universities are dying. He will use custom to enrich himself. He will use NNPC to enrich himself. He will use MPA. That time they will just put Nigeria on Amazon.com. No, what's the Nigerian one? There's Konga. Or maybe to upgrade, they put it on Alibaba. Or is it Jumia? So that is what you are going to get. That's what you are getting. Young people, honestly, the way I see this is that a lot of minds are on the boundaries. They're about to combat, but they don't know. It's just like it needs a little bit. Cause like, everybody's like, push me a little bit, and we still have a lot of people who are there who haven't decided to cross the line. And the moment we all cross the line, because the line is very clear. The moment we cross the line, it's going to be us versus them. But the moment they see that their own side of the line is depleted, all of them will run away.
Yes, so.
They will just retire.
AAC, take it back! Take it back! Action!
You've been around people in government. You've been a political activist in your life. If you could not influence these changes you're passionate about to happen with the people you've been around, how do you think you can do it by yourself?
It's important to clarify that I've not been around people in government. In fact, if I will reveal today that I've never been to a governor's office before in my life except Lagos. And Lagos was some woman whose husband was working at the Lagos governor's office sent me some 10 years ago to send a letter to her husband, and I took the letter personally. So I went as far as the first floor of the round office that was in Lagos at that time. But you cannot. I've never been to a government. I don't know how government houses look like. I don't know how long it takes you to wait to see a governor. I've never walked into the office of a governor like, wow, I just see them on TV. I'm not around a lot of them because you cannot be around them and at the same time understand that they will not mess you up. They will. One of the things you have to do is to maintain respectable distance from these guys so that your conscience can be free to do what it is designed to do. The reason why you see I can stand up and criticize people, anyone in government, is because I don't have anything to do with them. One of the things that I regularly get accused of is that I work for Tinubu. It's one great blackmail that they've used against me for the longest time.
Did you know you Sahara reporters?
No.
To work for APC 2000?
Never. So I'm saying this, and I'm saying this again, to clarify. What Sahara reporters has always done, or what I've always done, at every time in the history of this country when it's important, I stand on the side of what is right. And Jonathan was probably the biggest beneficiary of Sahara reporters. You can't believe this. What was his problem? He was supposed to be president after Yar'Adua was practically dead in Saudi Arabia. They frustrated him. Judges frustrated him. Journalists frustrated him. The National Assembly frustrated him. They were collecting money from the Yar'Adua Kaaba. Sahara Reporters was the only media house in this country that kept reporting that Yar'Adua would not be back alive. Or that he's dead.
Take it back! Action!
Jonathan sent somebody to me, run to Douglas, later, and said, "Hey, you've done so much work after he became president. Pack your things and come back to Nigeria." I said, "Do you think I was doing this for you?" The same way I reacted to Abiola in 1993. I'm not doing this. I'm doing this for the country, for my conscience. So Jonathan became president, acting president, and then he became president later. He became the worst human being that you could probably have as president. They were stealing left, right, and center. What is the Sahara reporters do? Start exposing the corruption under his government, which have all been proven right now. And then APC came and started using, of course, our materials to advance their position. What I'm saying is that you cannot find anywhere, no video, audio, or text anywhere, where I ever endorsed APC or Buhari. What I did was that at that time during the election, we made sure that the election was transparently reported.
Real time.
Real time. For the first time, Sahara Reporters was the first to report an election result in this country before NTA could do it.
AAC! Take it back! Action!
Even before INEC could get to it. Of course, they lost their minds. Where did Sahara Reporters get these results? You saw Rubebe say, we will not take this anymore. So Sahara Reporters never had any. In fact, as a rule, we decided not to accept advice from political parties or political personnel at that time. Until today, we don't. So you cannot find any evidence, because there was none, of any relationship between us. In fact, I was in Nigeria for 6 weeks during the election. Nobody knew where I was. The hotel where I was staying found out about me the day after the election. And I went to them and said, do you know who I am? They said, we don't know you. We just see one young guy who's running up and down. And I said, I'm Sahara reporters. They were like, oh my God. It's like we've been keeping a bomb inside this hotel. And we didn't know. That's how I operate. I didn't have any relationship with them. Those who have relationship with them know these things. If I had, of course, they would have exposed it. I've never met Tinubu more than once in my life. That was 1999, before I left Nigeria. After that, I don't know where he's located. I tell people if I fall on top of him, he won't recognize me. But if he falls on top of me, I will recognize him because I've done a lot of stories on him as well, including his drug history from Chicago.
Wow.
So, yes.
Take it back!
So it's enough. It's not enough for people to just, run. There was even a time that Jonathan people said that the APC people gave me a $5 million house
in California.
And I challenge them every day to provide them. They couldn't. So, but look at what we are doing today, Sahara Reporters. Sahara Reporters is also the one that's exposing Buhari's shenanigans. The CBN backdoor hiring, even that of the grass cutter who was eventually fired. The 500 million naira bribe that was given to his chief of staff. All the exposes, the Burattai's Dubai houses, they all came out of Sahara Reporters. And what Mena Gate. At the end of the day, what did they do? Even including Buhari's health. When everybody was saying that Buhari is just going to London for 2 weeks, he said he would spend 4 months there. And he spent even more than that eventually. Nobody likes what we do, I'll tell you that. And because of that, people just, it's always backlash, There was a journalist who asked me, I think it was Daily Trust, we went to do an interview. Oh, they said Sahara Reporters wrote some stories that are not true. I challenged her right there. Tell me one. He said, I don't know. Like a journalist though. So they can't tell you one story that is not true. Sometimes they don't understand that the story is not true because we wrote it before it happened. So a lot of stories that we used to write, it will be 2 weeks before some of them will happen. Some of them will even happen a year after. Because people have low memory, of course they don't understand it. But you know what? It is the best we can do for the country. And we must continue to do the best. And I again would encourage you, don't feel intimidated.
I'm not.
And don't be worried.
No, I'm not intimidated.
They're going to sue you. They're going to call you names. They're going to threaten your family, people. But at the end of the day, they will come around and be like, wow, this young lady did something for this country. And that's what is important.
Take it back! Take it back!
Action! But the stuff you find out about Jonathan's government that APC used to love, do you regret it?
No, they were information as a verified. Right? The moment I put out the moment the story comes out of Sahara Reporters, I have no control over what people do with it. Right? People do all kinds of things. Jonathan people too, in the PDP now use Sahara Reporter stories against APC. The other day we were looking at a number of stories, our stories that they retweeted. Unbelievable. And I met some of them, young people who used to work for PDP, who said to me, it was our job to just go and blackmail you so that you can leave us alone. Because some of them have now realized that, the folly of what they're doing. Some of them are with us today.
Okay. I'll take another question. Someone is asking, what are you doing about the girl child? A few days ago, it was the International Day of the Girl Child, and they want to know what your stand is for the girl child in Nigeria.
Yes. I think we have to start from the point of dignity for females in general, and it starts with the girl child. We still live in a country where girls are generally discriminated against. Even parents are still making those despicable decisions of separating girls from boys as to who they send to school, when they have to make very difficult decisions as to manage the resources of the family. And as a result, what we have, girls are vulnerable to abuse, we have in this country senators marrying 13-year-old girls, abusing them. What we need to do is to firm up our laws, but specifically there has to be special protection for a girl child in this country, because we know what they are vulnerable to, we know what people would do to them, and it's part of our education policy to ensure that we aggressively, if you look at the 13 million kids that are out of school, I guarantee you that most of them are girls, because it's easy to use the girl child as a beast of burden, when you see children that are hawking, most of them are girls, on the streets. They send them out to hawk because it's a girl now. Just send her out there to hawk. She'll sell more than a boy. It's how the society is conditioned itself, and people who are responsible for this are these old men who have been responsible for abusing both boys and girls over the years. But girls are particularly seriously under attack, and there has to just be policies and legislations. We already have a lot of legislation, by the way, but like we don't implement the rest of it, we're also not implementing the ones for the girl child. I would ensure that every child is protected first and foremost, but mostly the girl child, because they are vulnerable.
AAC! Take it back! Action!
It has to do with the way we police our borders too, and this also has to do with the way we treat even the girl child from other countries. A lot of people who are shouting about girl child education and freedom and human rights, they are using girls as their house helps and abusing them. So these are a lot of things needs to be. That's why I say you need a president that understands how the world is working and who will be willing to hit the ground running as soon as they're sworn in, and it has to do soon. So we don't have to wait for 100 days. It's not a chieftaincy title celebration. It's a country that needs to be run and run well.
AAC! Take it back! Take it back!
Action! So, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Suzan, please give Suzan a round of applause. Nice chatting with you. And I hope to come to your talk to more candidates like this.
If I mean, any opportunity I get, if I'm able to speak to anyone,
I would love to see Buhari on your couch, just...
It would be please, if you know anywhere I can get...
Come on, disgrace yourself on HQ.
No,
I'm just saying that by the time he leaves, it will be obvious to all your members.
No, Your Excellency, he's still our president.
Yeah,
okay,
Excellency.
So please,
there's nothing excellent about this Excellency.
Please, sir. This is my show. So, please, sir, if you would grant me audience, I would like you to come on the platform and counter the things.
And she'll be nice to you. Yes,
I'm a very nice person.
Yeah.
Only my haters don't believe that. So, I'm open to speak to as many people as possible.
Yeah.
So please, it doesn't even matter if you're a presidential candidate.
Yeah.
We're just a local government chairman. I just want to know.
We have a lot of them in the house.
Please
right
do, please.
Rant,
yes.
Crespo, where are you?
Crespo is
Crespo, yes.
All right.
We
So
have a lot of
my PA, Charity,
Yeah.
she's sitting down there. You can, please, I would love time with you.
All right.
Thank you very much. Take it back!
Thank you so much.
I was almost chanting.
Well, you're part of us. Yes.
Thank you
so much.
Thank
All right,
you.
people. So someone is going to escort her out, and we'll continue our show because we do a fundraiser after this. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Nice to meet you. And I hope to see you again. Thank you.
Please accept our request.
Are you like?
Are we still live?
Leroy, please start. Yes. Oh, yes, it's like. I think she wants to come back. It's always the town. Bye guys.
Thank you, everyone. Are you leaving now? No problem. We'll bring you back when you are ready. Nice to meet you. Yeah, of course. We're not ready yet. Where's man? They want you to tell our government they go. All right.